every Australian child diagnosed with cancer will soon have access to a world-first treatment program that's expected to cure or prolong the lives of more than 1,000 children every year. The Daily Telegraph's got the story this morning. The Zero Childhood Cancer program will involve a sophisticated genetic sequencing test that looks for alterations that may be driving the cancer's growth. A database of more than 120 drugs can then target that unique alteration. So those 18 years and younger will be eligible for the new therapy, which was previously only available to patients who were deemed vulnerable and fragile. No other country in the world offers this treatment program for every child. So joining me now for more on this is Professor Michelle Haber. She's the Executive Director of the Children's Cancer Institute. Good morning to you, Professor. It appears to be wonderful news. Just how would you describe this breakthrough this morning?
Look, I think it's extremely exciting. The Zero Childhood Cancer Precision Medicine Program is really a world-leading precision medicine program led in partnership by Children's Cancer Institute, the Sydney Children's Hospital. It's a national program that includes all 9 children's hospitals, over 20 medical research institutes nationally and internationally. And it uses the detailed genetic analysis to understand the specific genetic changes that are driving each child's individual cancer. And once these changes are identified, wherever possible, new targeted therapies are recommended to the treating clinician to improve the effectiveness of cancer treatment. This is very exciting because it's not just about the individual children on the trial, but how much we're learning from this detailed genetic analysis. So the more children that are enrolled, the more we learn. And so this is going to inform new treatments for the future as well. No,
it's very exciting. Wonderful news, not just for the kids, the parents, families as well. I just need to understand the process a little bit better, if you can help me. That process of genetic sequencing testing, how does that work in the simplest form?
So wherever a child is diagnosed anywhere in the country, that child's tumour sample comes to Children's Cancer Institute. It goes through very detailed genetic analysis. And what we're looking for, as I said, are specific genetic changes that are driving each child's cancer. So we do this genetic testing at the Institute, and then a national tumour board of clinicians and scientists from around the country assess that data and wherever possible make these treatment recommendations with the aim of improving the outcomes for that child and causing less harm than standard treatments, because these new targeted drugs only attack the cancer cells with that genetic change, not the normal cells.
And there's a good spread of drugs there, some 120, right, to target those alterations?
Yes, we don't currently have a drug to target every genetic change. So currently we don't have the means of saving the lives of every child. But the more children that are enrolled on Zero, the more we learn, in the hope that in the future there will be a targeted therapy for every genetic change that we identify in every child's cancer. So we're going to enroll, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Professor. I thought you were finishing your point there. I just that line that stuck with me this morning, that you could save or prolong the lives of 1,000 children a year. I mean, that's so wonderful. How sure are you that you can achieve that?
So there are 1,000 children and young people under the age of 19 diagnosed every year in Australia. From the first 250 children with the highest risk cancers that were enrolled on the Zero program, who were given, those children who were given their personalised recommended treatment, of those, 70% of those high-risk children who were otherwise destined to die had their tumour growth either had a complete remission, a partial remission, or their tumour was stabilised. Now, we're not yet at the point that we have, as I said, a drug for every child. But the more we learn, the more that will help us to develop with partners around the world new targeted therapies to match every one of these genetic changes, so that in the future, I do believe that we will be able to get to the point where we can save the lives of many, many more children. So it's not at that point yet.
Okay, not there yet. But so how come this couldn't have been done before? It's a world first, and these options were available only to the most vulnerable, though, as we've reported. How come we couldn't extend this to all children who had cancer before?
So when we started the pilot study in 2017, this was a proof of principle that this targeted, personalised treatment approach could actually change the outcomes of children with cancer. As I said, we've generated that proof of principle, and then based on that, with funding from the Commonwealth Government and the Minderoo Foundation, this has now given us the funding to undertake the mammoth task of scaling up this program from 150 high-risk children a year to the 1,000 children. That's required actually 2 years of dedicated teamwork to build and scale this program to the point that we can do that and roll out these treatment recommendations within about 7 weeks from the time that the child is diagnosed on this program.
And just finally, maybe this is a silly question, but how could it be extended to people over the age of 18?
I believe that this personalised medicine approach is actually the vanguard of the way that we'll be treating all cancers in the future, and in fact that this will extend to other diseases as this paradigm of getting genetic information and then using that to inform treatment. I do think that this is the way of the future.
Wow. Professor Michelle Haber, appreciate your time this morning. Fingers and toes crossed that it all goes well. Thank you
so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.